Algebra 2, closure problem A-125. To do this, we're going to create explicit equations, and each of these are written in recursive fashion. The plan is to list out 5 or more terms, somewhere between 4 and 5 terms, so that you can see the pattern. And once you can really see the pattern, then we can figure out what type of sequence it is and what formula we would use. So in part A, since it says the first term is 17, and then it says to find the next term, you take the previous term and subtract 7. So to find the second term, I would take 17 and subtract 7. I get 10. To find the next term here, I would take 10 and subtract 7. And we keep doing that over and over. And we realize, oh, this is arithmetic, where we are adding a negative 7. And so the formula that we've learned in class and that we know is to find any term of an arithmetic sequence, you can take the first term, add the common difference, times 1 less than the term that we're looking for, n minus 1. But you need to simplify that equation. So we need to distribute this negative 7 into the n minus 1 and collect like terms, and we end up with, to find any term, it would be 24 minus 7n. We also learned that if you just said, well, what would have come before the 17, and that would have been 24. So this would have been the 0th term plus negative 7 times just n. So you could have skipped this step if you remembered that other plan of writing an arithmetic sequence. In part B, I list out the terms, and up here, remember, it says it starts with 3, and to find the next term, you multiply 5 times the previous term. So the first term was 3. I multiply it by 5 and get 15. I multiply that times 5 and get 75. And I keep multiplying by 5, and I realize, oh, that's geometric. Every time I multiply by 5, my multiplier is 5. So the formula was to find any term, we take the first term times the common ratio raised to the n minus 1. Now, you could write this and think, well, what would have come before the 3? That would have been 3/5, so this will be the 0th term that's not in the sequence, times 5 to the n. But this really, especially in this case, since our 0th term, what would have preceded the sequence, isn't an integer, it's a fraction, I don't see that as a simpler equation. That this one is perfectly fine, and this is the one that I would prefer to use.